Hi, boys and girls. Sorry I missed out on our meeting today because of my doctor's appointment, but hopefully you went through Tuesday's folder on Schoology and started at the very top. And the first thing that you needed to do today was to watch the lesson one video, have all of your materials ready, and the teacher today talked about a brand new concept, area and perimeter. Well, actually, it shouldn't be brand new because we have reviewed it very, very briefly this year, and you've had it in years past, but now that we're going to actually be working on some problems, it is brand new to us. So after you watch the lesson one video, then you should take out your student workbook to page 1 and complete the must-do problems. Now, the must-do problems for this lesson are number 2, 3, 4, and 5. So before we begin, I just want to put a little tip up here for you so that we remember the formulas for area and perimeter. And we want to remember that area measures the inside of something. So to find area, we multiply the length times the width. And remember, that's when we have our units squared as our answer because we are using 2 dimensions, length and width. To find perimeter, we add up all the sides. And since we're using all rectangles today, I'll use the formula side plus side plus side plus side. In the video, they also showed a couple other shortcuts that you could use, such as taking the side and doubling it, and then adding it to the other side. A couple different things, all really your preference, but basically what you're doing is adding up all the sides. So today you should be on page 1 of your brand new workbook, and we are moving down to question 2. Question 2 tells us to determine the perimeter and area for each rectangle. So when we start with number 2A, when we find the perimeter, we're going the whole way around this rectangle. One property of a rectangle is that opposite sides have equal lengths. So since this side is measured at 6 centimeters, this side will also be 6 centimeters, and the opposite of this 5 centimeter side would be 5 centimeters. So I have all of my sides labeled. Just helps me to be more accurate. Now I'm going to add up. I like to do my sides that are the same length first. So to find perimeter, I'm going to add 6 plus 6 plus 5 plus 5. 6 plus 6 is 12. 5 plus 5 is 10. I know 12 plus 10 equals 22. And then I would label that centimeters. Now to find the area, I'm going to take my length, which is 6 centimeters, times my width, which is 5. This is where knowing those multiplication facts is going to come in handy. I also want to tell you this. When we get into the bigger numbers during this lesson, you are permitted to use a calculator. If you are not strong with your multiplication facts, hopefully you're practicing those at home, but you could also use a calculator here. I know that 6 times 5 equals 30. So my area is not just 30. That would be an incomplete answer. It's 30 centimeters squared, or 30 squared centimeters. I've heard it both ways. Okay, for letter B, I have an 8 centimeter width, which means this side would also be 8 centimeters. 3 centimeter side would give me 3 centimeters at the bottom. So to find my perimeter, what do? Hopefully you said add up all the sides. So I'm going to start with 8 plus 8 plus 3 plus 3. Sometimes I even break it up into some smaller manageable pieces for myself if I'm not using a calculator. So I know 8 plus 8 is 16. 3 plus 3 equals 6. That'll give me another row. 16 plus 6 equals 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So my perimeter is 22, check my unit, centimeters. For my area, length times width, which would be 3 times 8. 3 times 8 gives me 24. My area would be 24 centimeters squared. Okay. Moving on to number 3. Here, we are determining the perimeter only. So I know I'm going, remember the perimeter. The dog pees around the outside of your yard to mark its territory. So we're going to be finding the perimeter. So I'm going, okay, so I'm going to show you another strategy that I use sometimes. So I know I'm going the whole way around. So to find perimeter, I know that I'm adding up all the sides. So that I don't miss any sides, sometimes I do this. I highlight and then I write down. So I have 166 plus, go down this side, 99. Now we have meters. I know that opposites are equal, so I'm going to label those. And then I'm going to highlight the length, write it down, 166 plus my last one. So I've gone the whole way around my rectangle, plus 99. For this one, I am going to use my calculator. Okay, so I have 166 plus 99 plus 166 plus 99, 530. I don't really trust my iPhone calculator, so I always do it twice. Got the same answer. So now I'm going to write my perimeter is 530 just meters. 530 meters. Perimeter is not squared, just area. Okay, moving on to letter B. Okay, now here's one. Good thing we practiced those conversions earlier this year. We have a side length being 1 meter and 50 centimeters. So if you remember, 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. This was something we did a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to keep that in mind when I'm adding up my perimeter. So I know that I need to add up 1 meter and 50 centimeters. And I'm going to mark my other sides. I'm going to add my bigger sides together first. 1 meter, 50 centimeters, plus 75, plus 75. Okay, so for this one, I am going to break this up into some smaller parts for myself. So I know that I'm going to add these two together first. 1 meter plus 1 meter is 2 meters. 50 centimeters and 50 centimeters are 100 centimeters. Some of you may be saying, oh, I know that equals 3 centimeters. So you have two options. You can leave it like this, or you could erase and you can make this, I'm sorry, I think I said 3 centimeters, 3 meters, because we know 100 centimeters gives us 1 meter. So I have 1 meter, 2 meters, and I put these two together to give me 3 meters. Now I need to add to it 75 plus 75. I always think of 75s as quarters. So I have 3 quarters, and 3 quarters gives me 6 quarters total. I know that equals 150 or $1.50. So this is 150 centimeters. So we should be saying to ourselves, I know I can make another meter here. So I'm going to take my 100 centimeters and add another whole meter to give me 4 meters and 50 centimeters. And this is more real life because it's not very often where you are going to be putting fence around a yard, or maybe putting a border around a window, or a picture frame where you're going to have round numbers like this. So this one is very real life where you have meters and centimeters. Okay, moving on to number 4. Now's where it becomes fun. Now these ones are like puzzles. Now, given the rectangle's area, so we know that the area is 80 square centimeters. That's how much is in the inside. We have to find the unknown side length. These ones are like a puzzle. Okay, so when I'm talking about area, I remember that area, it equals length times width. And remember, I use that cursive L because I don't want to get mixed up with a 1. Okay, so if I know that area equals length times width, I'm going to rewrite my formula down here. And I'm going to plug in what I know. So I know, do I know my area? Yes, I do. My area is 80. Do I know my length? That's what's missing. And they're calling this X. So I'm going to put a fancy X there. I'm going to multiply this X. Remember, that's a variable. That's like a fancy question mark, meaning we don't know. My width is 8. So really, I should be asking, here's my thought bubble, asking myself here, 8 times question mark gives me 80. So I'm just going to work backwards. 8 times what equals 80? I know those 10 facts, so I know this is a 10. So 80 equals 10 times 8. So my missing side length is, it's not just 10. I need my unit. I look back and I see centimeters. Now, if I went to check, 8 times 10 would give me 80. Okay, moving on to letter B. Here, I have my area. Is 49 square centimeters. So when I go to my formula, I plug in 49 under the A because that's the area. And I look, do I have my length? Nope, it's just labeled as X, which is, remember, that's a fancy question mark, times my width. And I know my width is 7. So here now, this is what you should be thinking. 7 times what equals 49? Think 7. Think of your 7 facts. 7 times 7 gives me 49. So I'm going to plug this 7 in at my X. 49 equals 7 times 7. So I know that my missing side length, this X, my variable, is 7 centimeters. I like those ones. Okay. So we did 2, 3, 4, and we still have number 5, which only leaves you with 2 questions left. Given the rectangle's perimeter, we have to find the unknown side length. So now we're going the whole way around. So I know that the whole way around this rectangle is 120 centimeters. I know more than what they've given us here. 20 centimeters, my unknown. I know this opposite side's equal. So that's 20 centimeters, and this one's also unknown. Okay, so we have to start with what we know. Our total, the whole way around, is 120. So I'm going to take my 2 side lengths and add those up. So I know 20 plus 20 equals 40. I'm going to take that away from my total. 120 minus 40. So I know from my mental math that that's 80. But remember, if you cannot do this mentally, you can type it in your calculator. I'll double check my work. 120 minus 40 equals 80. Or remember, when you have big numbers like this, you have some space here. Line your place values up and write it going vertically, because you see you will need to do some trading. Okay, so I know that this gives me 80 centimeters left to be divided between these two sides. And I know they have to be equal length. So I'm going to take my 80 and divide it by 2. We haven't learned how to do big multiplication and division yet. So I'm going to take my 80 divided by 2, and it gives me 40, which means each of these sides should be 40. So maybe you're asking yourself, how can I make sure I'm correct? Take your calculator, go up to your rectangle. Now let's find the perimeter. We're going to add 20 plus 40 plus 20 plus 40. And we have 120, which matches up with my 120 centimeters. Oh boy, left us off with a big one. Now my perimeter is 1,000 meters. My missing length, I know that the one side is 250 meters. So I'm going to label the other 250, and this one's also missing. So what do I do first? I hope you said add up the sides that we know. So 250 plus 250 equals 500. Next, I take my total, which is 1,000, and I'm going to take away the two sides we already accounted for. 1,000 minus 500 equals 500. So now I have 500 meters to divide equally between two sides. 500 divided by 2. You might want to punch that into your calculator. You would get, look at that, 250, which means, oh, let me go back to something. This side's 250 meters. This side's 250 meters. So we have a special kind of rectangle here. Here we have a square because we have all four sides the exact same length. I just realized I never put our answer in here, so that would be incomplete. I need to put 40 centimeters. You guys would have been here. I know someone would have reminded me. Okay, so I'm going to go into your Schoology. I should have kept my screen shared. Today is Wednesday. So you should have already done this part before you came to the Zoom. Wednesday's assignment. This is what you need to do today. If I would have been in school today, I would have done these problems with you. But since I didn't, right here, I'm going to post this link as soon as I'm done recording for you to watch with me and complete those problems that I just did. Then you're going to be working on, after you are finished with this video, the lesson 1 homework on pages 4, 5, and 6 in your workbook. That's some practice for you. After you completed your homework, you're going to complete the lesson 1 exit ticket. I tried something new this week. If you click this link, it will take you to an electronic version of the exit ticket. Then you don't have to worry about sending me anything. You start with your name, and there's little boxes. I already took this one, so it has the answers in there, but there's little boxes for you to type your answer in. You're going to have to do works on, you can do work right in your exit ticket packet so you have it in case we have to review something if you're having trouble. That's what I would probably recommend. I would take your exit ticket packet and use this to solve. Then take your answers from this and type them into the electronic exit ticket. That will eliminate probably some headaches from for your parents for scanning and sending them. I'm trying to make more things electronic. Unfortunately, sometimes like last week with Schoology, our internet's not reliable. But I'm trying. Please let me know if you have any issues or questions. And if not, I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have our normal 1 o'clock Zoom. But remember, there's going to be a video for you to watch before you come to the Zoom. Hopefully, I will be crutch-free, splint-free, and I will see you guys tomorrow.